creamed kohlrabi, or sometimes what's called a German turnip. High-end groceries have kohlrabi, and most people don't have a clue what they are, but they're really quite delicious. The greens are also edible, so you'll want to save those. You can saute them or braise them, or even put them back in this cream dish, which is what I probably should have done, but I didn't think about it at the time. Kohlrabi has a thick and fibrous outer skin that needs to be peeled, and you can do that pretty easily with a sharp paring knife. Just be careful not to cut yourself. I find these mild flavored turnips to be a nice replacement for potatoes in low carb dishes. In this recipe, we're going to braise them and serve them in a cream sauce, but they can also just be roasted as well with a little olive oil, salt and pepper, or thin sliced and sauteed in a pan on the stovetop. The downside is they're not always available, and my understanding is that most grocers wind up throwing the majority of them away. That's, I guess, why they're so expensive. Now, once you've peeled them, you'll need to cut off the fibrous root ball. Anything round tends to be dangerous to work with. It could lead to a slip and a trip to the emergency room. So I'm just going to cut it in half, and then I'm going to place it down and take the root ball off one half at a time. That way the kohlrabi is stable on my cutting board and there's no chance of a slip. Stability is a very important safety concern in the kitchen, from the shoes you wear all the way up. Now that we've peeled and cut the root ends off of our kohlrabi, we want to slice them or chop them into bite-sized pieces that are all of an equal size, so that they all cook at the same rate, and so that you don't have some that are mushy and others that are too hard. Once you've sliced them up, you'll want to put them into a pot that has a lid or covering available for it. Spread them out evenly over the bottom of your pot, and then add enough chicken stock or vegetable stock just to come right to the top of the spread out vegetables. You don't want to put too much in, because later you're going to have to reduce it anyway. Add a little salt and fresh cracked pepper at this point, but not too much. We'll correct the seasoning later. It's a good practice to season a little as you go, and that way the food will take the seasoning better. As with all dishes that I use cream in, I always add just a little nutmeg as a background note. It's a background flavor. You don't really want to notice nutmeg, but if it wasn't there, you would notice that it wasn't there. Does that make any sense? Anyway, enough of that. Bring the kohlrabi to a hard simmer, cover, and cook till tender, stirring occasionally. Testing it occasionally with a sharp paring knife to check for tenderness and doneness. Once it's tender to your liking, cut the heat off, and then using a slotted spoon, remove the kohlrabi pieces from the braising liquid, so that we could then proceed to do our reduction and make our sauce. The reduction is the reason that we do not want to add too much salt in the beginning, because as we reduce this liquid, this braising liquid, it's going to become more salty. So we want to be sure not to add too much sauce at the beginning, but rather to correct in the end. Now we've added in our cream, and we want to reduce without letting it boil over until we develop a nice sauce. We're adding in a little lemon juice to brighten the flavor of the sauce. Lemon juice, like wine, is an acid, and it'll brighten the flavor of whatever you put it in. We're going to put in a little bit of cayenne pepper just to give the sauce a little back end heat. Always taste as you go, very important. When the sauce is thick to your liking and seasoned correctly, then add your kohlrabi back into the sauce and stir. Reheating the kohlrabi to service temperature in the sauce. At this point, I'm going to add in a little sour cream or creme fraiche, preferably creme fraiche. If you don't know how to make creme fraiche, I have a video on that. It's on my YouTube channel and at cheftylermaking.com, so you can check that out. Now I'm adding in the chopped parsley. I like to put my fresh herbs in right at the end of the cooking process so that they retain their beautiful green color and their freshness of flavor. Okay, we're done. I'm going to put this in a serving dish, or you could serve straight from the pot. That would be up to you. Prior to serving, I'm going to garnish this dish with a little bit of paprika and fresh cracked pepper. I also like to serve it with a little dollop of sour cream on top, as you'll see in this picture. You see it served here with our low-carb beef rouladen and braised red cabbage. And also, don't forget about the greens, they're edible too. For this and other recipes, please go to cheftylermaking.com. Thank you very much.